We're going to be keeping this show rolling. This next gentleman is appearing for the fourth time here at Scotty's and finds the Comedy Cove a refreshing interlude for the stress of everyday life. Give it up for Steve Salzberg!
Okay, before we get started, I need to do a little audience inventory. I'm Jewish, so I have to know, are there any Islamic extremists in the audience? No, that's good. Now, I did find out last night, President Obama told me there are no Islamic extremists. There are merely Islamics that pervert Islam. Problem is, once they pervert Islam, they seem to become terrorists and blow shit up. And I don't know. I think if Bush said something like that, the media would be calling him an idiot. But be that as it may. Let's talk about the Taliban for a second. I have to tell you, those folks are hypocrites. I mean, think about it. They raise poppies to make heroin, but they won't touch liquor. They have an unlimited budget to buy every weapon in the world, and they can't afford a nice pair of shoes. And they won't eat pork because it's unclean, but they wipe their ass with their bare hands. I mean, really, think about it for a second. Now, I gotta tell you, there are extremist Jews as well. They're called Hasidics. But Hasidics are not violent. About the worst thing that can happen to you if you alienate a Hasidic is they'll sell you a bad diamond on West 46th. Now, I do have to say that to a Jewish woman, that is the ultimate form of terrorism. I mean, really, the Hasidics, they're little strange people. You know, they're pale, they have the spit curls, the fuzzy hats, the long black coats, even in summer. And they're like really super Jews. I mean, I'm a Reformed Jew who married an Italian girl. They think I'm a Nazi. And the fact of the matter is, a few years ago, I was lost in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm driving around, I don't know where I'm going, I see Hebrew letters on the street sides, Hebrew letters on storefronts. I find a guy, it's July, he's wearing a long black coat and he's sweating like a pig. I say to him, can you tell me how to get to the Williamsburg Bridge? He stops and he ponders it for a minute, and he starts to talk to me, and I guess what was Yiddish, but all I hear is the cub, the cub, the cub, the cub, the cub, the cub. I gotta tell you, it freaked me out. I had to drive 10 blocks to find a Puerto Rican guy to give me directions I can understand. And I mean, what about Israel? Is Israel getting a bad rap or what? I mean, forget the politics about it, but everyone says Israel is grabbing Palestinian land. Now, have you seen Gaza? I mean, it looks like Hiroshima after they dropped the bomb. Why would you be grabbing that territory? And worse, why would you build a house there? I gotta question the Israelis' ability to get a grasp on real estate. I mean, what is the chance that that property is going to increase in value? I mean, seriously, I just don't think it's going to happen. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Well, fortunately, America is still a very Christian country. Now, as a Jew, it can be painful growing up in America, growing up in a Christian world. Fortunately, we learn about pain at an early age with circumcision. Now, I got to tell you, it takes a fun people to mutilate the genitals of their sons and then have a party. Hold on now. I hear a lot of you Christians out there laughing, and if I remember correctly, there's been a lot of news about some of your young boys being affected with their genitals in religious environments as well. Come on now, that's funny. You know, we're all getting older, and I find that now everything is an ailment or a syndrome. You know, there's a new thing now called BED, binge eating disorder. It's true. People apparently can't control themselves. They eat until they get sick, and they get fat. Now, I've heard about this ailment for years. I suffered from it as a child. It was called fat bastard disease. It was no ailment, it was no syndrome, and I can tell you, you didn't need therapy. What you needed was a diet and a workout. But that's the world we live in today. And, you know, there's sophisticated terms for every medical condition. Used to be, you would just call it what it was. Now we have incontinence, instead of saying he pissed his pants. We say constipation. He can't take a crap. Okay? Erectile dysfunction. He can't get it up. And then we have restless leg syndrome, which used to just be he dances in his sleep. I mean, everything's got names, everything's got terms. And how about the drug commercials? I mean, I don't know about you, but they scare the crap out of me. They take 10 seconds to talk about what the drug does, and 50 seconds telling you about all the side effects. So you start thinking about, well, if I take it, it might fix this, but if I do take it, it's going to cause this. And I'll just tell you, when they get to a side effect being possible anal leakage, I'm done. And then I got a bunch of friends that tell me I should look into homeopathic remedies. Now, not that there's anything wrong with that. But I can tell you, before I look at alternative lifestyle meds, I'm going to try the hetero version first. And you know, I wonder about the guys when they were going through anatomy and they were starting to name body parts. I think this is a good example of people getting tired. I mean, you think about it. They start out ears, eyes, nose, mouth, arms, legs, toes. Something happened because then they got the penis, scrotum, and gonads. I mean, this is a perfect example of better planning, folks. Better planning, and don't wait until you're tired. Not a real good thing. Absolutely not a good thing. I also want to know, does anybody know, when you hear bullshit, when someone says bullshit, they're calling you right out. There is no question, it's bad. What is it about the bull and his excrement that made it so direct and so positive that you were being told a lie? I mean, if you do think about it, I mean, when someone says bullshit, there's no discussing. Now, horse shit, on the other way, leaves you a little wiggle room. I mean, someone will say, you say something to someone that they think is a lie, they'll say, bullshit, end of story. You tell somebody a story, they might go, that sounds like horse shit to me. So there is a possibility that we can get around it. I also want to know, who ever discovered the fact that dog shit should be used to describe a food that tastes bad? Where did that perspective come from? That's pretty frightening. Pretty frightening. And, you know, as we get older, we realize that we have certain friends that we should not hang around with anymore, but you can't help yourself because they're just too funny. I have a friend, Moish, and this guy will do anything for a laugh, and he's also cheap as hell. So we go into a bar, and he says to me, watch this, which immediately tells me, go sit somewhere. I do. He walks up to the bartender. He tells the bartender he's got no money. He wants a beer. And the bartender says, this is a business. I'm not going to give you a beer. He said, no. I will perform for the beer. Bartender says, what do you do? He says, I can fart the Star-Spangled Banner. Bartender says, this could be interesting. I'll buy the guy a beer, which he does. He then rings the bell to get everyone's attention, and he announces that Moish is going to fart the Star-Spangled Banner, brings everyone's attention to the end of the bar. He tells them to go down to the end of the bar, way down at the end of the bar. Moish gets down there, he climbs up, takes a nice bow, turns around, drops his pants, bends over, and proceeds to crap all over the bar. The bartender's screaming, people are getting sick, it's disgusting, it's horrible, everyone's yelling at poor Moish. He stands up, calm as can be. He turns around, he looks at the crowd, he goes, hey, relax. Even Frank Sinatra gets a chance to clear his throat. That's my time, thank you.
It was just proven it's time for a new national anthem. Okay.